Terrific. Now, Vic, would you like me to go ahead and start with the agenda, or do you want to start with your share?
Well, I kind of put my stuff in the agenda, so
Okay.
let's go ahead and do what's already on the agenda, and then we can finish up with some of the items that I added in the last couple of days.
Okay, that sounds great. And once again, if you're just joining now, if you'd please put your name and site in the chat box, I'd appreciate it. And I'm going to make this a bit bigger so everyone can see it. Whoops, sorry about that. All right, it's up, and if you can see it, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, well, first thing on the second thing on the agenda is site visits, and I sent out that document to everyone so that you could see where I'm going to be doing site visits for this school year, and I haven't gotten a big response. Just a couple of people have responded, and so if you are on that list, you want to make sure that you schedule a time with me. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and I will show you the site visit document. And that's not it. Oops. There we go. So here's my list. I've got Council Bluffs, Oelwein, Boys and Girls Club, Clinton, Bettendorf, North Fayette Valley, Maquoketa, and let me go this a little bit here. Des Moines, Fairfield, Waterloo, Boys and Girls Clubs of Cedar Valley. So make sure if you're on this list. Now there's a couple of you that are not on this list where you're in cohorts 13 and 14. That's because you've got an established program director, and there's no need for me to come out and do that visit. So a little reward for all your hard work. If you notice, we've got so many new directors, and so that's kind of a priority for me to get out there and work with you and make sure everything's on track. Okay. And if you need this document sent out to you again, I'm happy to do so. But all of these visits are going to be the checklist, the first, the first part where there's we go over the things you should be doing as a program, and then next school year I will be doing some comprehensive visits. Anyone have any questions on the site visits?
We had a question in the chat, Vic. What does OSTCP stand for?
That's a good question. Well, during the pandemic, I applied for an additional funding, and we got $2.5 million. That's the Out of School Time Career Pathways Grant. Now, it only applies to our high school programs, and in Iowa, we don't have a lot, but we had 4 high schools across the state that were already doing 21st century, and so they were eligible for this extra career pathways funding. And so that's what that is all about. And we're starting up year 3, beginning, I think January 10th is when it starts. So it's nice to get that extra funding. And, I'm always looking for extra funding for us and things like that. Okay. Any other questions on the site visits?
Vic, I had pulled off the comprehensive site visit info off the website, but you said these are not going to be comprehensive.
Right, it's going to be the regular site visit. There's an 11-page checklist.
Okay.
That's the one we're going to be doing this school year.
Okay.
And that's a little easier to do. You don't have to set up a bunch of meetings.
Yeah.
But that also gets you right on track with what you should be doing as a program. It's all aligned to federal statute. And that way we're just doing a check to make sure you guys are on the right track. There might be a couple of things that you're not doing, and we'll work on getting that, aligned. I'm not looking for to, find somebody doing something wrong. But we've got so many new people and new staff. We've got to make sure that you guys are all, know which direction you need to be heading in. And if you have any questions on it, just shoot me an email or, call me. And I'm happy to address any of those concerns. Okay, the next item is local evaluations. Now, we're taking it easy this time. I've been very generous with granting extensions. We've got some of them read, and if you need extra time, that's fine. But keep in mind that, eventually you've got to get these things done. Let me know if you have any issues with getting data from the districts, because they may have a brand new data person that says, hey, you can't get this data, that violates FERPA. And it doesn't. But if you run into some problems and you're not able to resolve it, let me know, and I'll help you to get around some of these roadblocks that appear from time to time. Another thing too, I want to share with you at the end, one of the local evaluations really impressed me, and I wanted to kind of share that with you as an example of best practice, because we actually do read through these. Okay, so it's thousands of pages, but what I look for in there to see how your programs are doing, and I use the local evaluations to generate a list of awards at our state conference. So, it's not just, an exercise in paperwork. Number one, we are required by the federal statute to produce a state evaluation and a local evaluation. Uh-oh. Somebody's getting feedback. Okay. So, this is a federal requirement, but we do a little bit more with it by taking the data that you provide and using it as a basis for awards at our state conference. And also too, locally, you should be looking at that evaluation, and your evaluator should suggest some things to make your program better every year. Any questions on local evaluations? Okay. The next item is CASA. The CASA window is open now, so you can put in a claim. It's open until the end of the month. You've got to upload your claim spreadsheet and your general ledger, and please make sure those amounts match, because I cannot approve anything if the totals are different. Okay, that's the biggest thing that I will get in there and say, hey, these totals don't match. And therefore we can't, the system will not allow us to proceed with processing your claim. Other than that, it's been pretty smooth. This has also been the first year where we provided an extension, because we had, a district that got kind of hacked, and their data was being held for ransom, and they were unable to put in a claim. And the first time ever, we were able to provide an extension in the system. But other than that, we've been at the DE a little bit slow because we're very short-staffed, but we've hired a couple more people, and hopefully things will be smooth going forward. But it's, everybody is suffering from a shortage of staff. Okay, Heidi, the next one is yours.
Yes, it is. Okay. Yep, and it's a quick one. It's the annual survey. It is open. The SurveyMonkey link is here. I can certainly send it to you again in an email as well. It's been sent a few times, and I will send it again at least one more time before it closes. Please have that complete by the 20th of January. If you haven't done the survey before, which I think most people on this call have, it's something that you want to have your data ready for before you open it. It's going to take you, I think, around 18 or 20 minutes to complete the survey. If you have everything prepared and ready to put in, it's the same data that's going to go in your local evaluation and your federal report. So it's nothing new. It's just that stuff. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any trouble with the link, send me an email and we can help you on our end as well.
Heidi, this is Erin in Fort Dodge. If we're new, like if this is our first year with funding and we don't have data to report on, do we still complete the survey?
Hi, Erin. Yeah, you're still going to go ahead and complete the survey this year. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's go to the next item, the APR. That window was also open and it ends on the 31st. So you need to get that outcome data into the APR system. And there's, some specific reports your data person needs to do before you can get that data in. They need to use your student information system and take the kids that are in the after-school program and generate those reports for you. And I would suggest that you have them save it because we'll be using those same reports for the next 10 years at least. So get that done. If you haven't got it done already, get it done as soon as possible because it's a requirement of the grant that you get that APR data in. And I don't have any choice if you don't get it in, but to cite you for non-compliance. And I don't want to do that. That is why I send reminders and follow up to make sure that you're meeting these milestones. If you have any issues, contact me. Maybe there's some things that I can do to help. One thing that's not on the agenda, I put it in the chat, and that is some conferences coming up. Okay. We've got a lot of new people, and so you would benefit quite a bit from attending one of these conferences. They've got some good sessions on best practice, and I've got the links there in the chat. Keep in mind, a lot of you have generous balances in your professional development line item. And that is one of those categories that you can go over 5%. You can't go under 5%, but you can, if you need to, by sending a couple of people to one of these conferences, maybe you're spending 6 or 7%, that's okay. So the only one that I don't have the link to is the Summer Institute in July. That they just announced the date. They don't have the website up yet, but these other ones coming up, February 1st through the 4th, that's in Indianapolis. Then there's 2 in Orlando, in February and March. All of these are excellent conferences. And since if it's virtual you're attending, you don't need to ask for, approval. But if you're planning on going in person, out of state, taking a plane, staying in a hotel, you need to send me an email and send me the list of people who are going and, a link to the conference, and then you'll get a response back that'll say, you are approved. And that's quite a savings over what happened in the past. You used to have to fill out a form. But anyway, I would encourage you to, we've got a lot of new people and this would be very beneficial. However, now given the staff shortages, you may not be able to attend because you've got no one that can fill in for you. So I understand that. But maybe there's somebody in your program that could attend one of these things, and that helps us build our capacity. Anybody have any questions on some of these PD opportunities? Okay. Let's go to the next one, carryover. Now, you don't need to schedule a meeting with me if you are just anticipating carryover. Schedule a meeting with me if you're not sure you've got a big balance and you anticipate, a large carryover. We're not changing our process. We've got a good process that in May, I will be asking you to, send me an estimate of what you think you're going to carry over. And, we've been operating under that 15%. But the reason you'd want to have a meeting with me is some strategies to reduce the need for carryover. There's a lot of things that you can spend money on that you may not be aware of that, you don't have to have a big carryover balance. And little by little, we're going to be reducing that carryover because of the fact all of our money has a timestamp on it. And so we have no choice, but on some of these funds, if we don't spend it, we have to return it. And we don't want to send money back to the feds. In Iowa, we want to spend every dime on kids in need. So, it's very important that we work together on this and make sure that we are spending all that money for these kids that really need that support. Okay. So if you have any questions on that, make sure you contact me and I'll do my best to help. But so far, everybody that I've worked with, they've been able to reduce their need for carryover, and they've discovered things that they could appropriately spend money on that would help the program. Okay. And that's important. Okay, I'm going to share another document with you. And that's covering fees. Now, some of you that have been here for a while know that for years I've been warning you that the handwriting was on the wall about fees. Now, this fall we had a state monitoring visit from the feds, and they were really down on fees. And I pointed out to them, I says, well, wait a minute, I've done everything appropriately and by the book. The burden is really on you at the federal level, because We've done everything according to, you know, the statute. And so they, I think they got a little bit upset, and they sent out this email to everyone. And this is what it said. It says, "Dear SEAs, this is to inform you that the department is updating its guidance on program income." And they can do that. As a result of the updates, existing prior approvals granted to SEAs in accordance with Uniform Guidance, Section 200.307 will expire with the current sub-grant cycle cohort ending. So, and they said, well, states are releasing requests for applications. If you would like to request prior approval for program income, here's where they changed it. On behalf of a subgrantee, the SEA will need to provide the following information for the department. They want a description of subgrantee plans, and you guys are the subgrantees, plans to generate income, and an approximate amount of the income likely to be generated. And number two, an explanation of why the program income is necessary to achieve the goals and objectives of the program, and a description of how income funds will be tracked and reported to the SEA. Now, here's where they've thrown a monkey wrench in. It says here, an SEA must submit a request seeking prior approval for each subgrantee that intends to generate program income. A blanket request for multiple subgrantees will not be accepted. Now, previously, in order to comply with federal statute, I had an approved blanket request, even though we don't consider in Iowa it to be a best practice. But now I cannot see us sending in an individual request for everybody that wanted to generate program income, because it's not a best practice. And then here's where they have us. Once received, the department will review the request and work to provide a timely response. The department, U.S. Department of Ed, must approve the SEA's request before the subgrantee can charge fees. Okay. And this is from that statute, you know, the deduction. Normally, program income must be deducted from the total allowable cost to determine the net allowable. And the program income must be used for current costs and program income that the non-federal entity did not anticipate at the time of the federal award must be used to reduce the federal award. And so, you know, we have allowed it in Iowa because it was in the federal statute. However, other states have years ago said you cannot charge fees. Nebraska is a good example. You know, if you have a grant in Nebraska, you cannot charge program fees. So this is going to be a change, and I'm going to come up with some special guidance on this and send it out to everyone, just so that, you know, we're following everything. But, you know, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, because I've been warning you for years that they're looking at this for elimination. So just wanting to keep you guys informed. Anybody have any questions on this?
Hi, Vic. This is Amy. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. I'm driving, so I wasn't sure. And I'm sick. So I'm just curious when this goes into effect, and if you could also share what you just had on the screen, if you could email that out so I could share that with the administration, my school district.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to send out something specifically on fees and send it out to everyone. This is just kind of, I just got this recently, so, you know, I wanted to share it at the directors meeting. This is where I let you guys know things ahead of time, but I will be putting together something, and I will be contacting the feds and finding out exactly on their timeline, when does that mean, the end of the cohort? Does that mean that existing cohorts can continue until their cohort ends, or is this mean that at the new cohort that would start at the new fiscal year, July 1? So they've got to clarify a couple of things for me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay, I want to share one more thing, and this is a best practice example. And this is just some highlights from a local evaluation. And now keep in mind, this is a summer program, and this is, this occurred during the pandemic. And first off, things that I look for in local evaluation, I look for you guys documenting need. And notice they've had an increase of kids in poverty, and it's increased 20%. And I'm sure that's been increasing all over the state. And this is a program called Kids on Course University. So they modified the summer program to distribute food and learning materials to children and families. And a lot of you did that, and that's great. Then they got thrown a curveball. They had the derecho in addition to the pandemic that hit them. With significant damage to homes in the area. And this caused a disruption to, their education access. And some more of their numbers, 79% are eligible for free and reduced lunch. And then they break it down by the school, 78%, 81%, and 80%. So definitely they have the need in Cedar Rapids. Then they talk about some of the services that they provide. And this is an area that you really need to focus on, because I know a lot of you, when I visit, I see services and things you're providing, but I never see it in your local evaluations. So, give yourself credit and share these things with your evaluators so you can get that in there. And, we like to promote some of the good things that are going on in Iowa. So what caught my eye was librarians were available at each site to make books accessible for kids to check out. And then, of course, safe transportation. Kids had a ride to and from the program. They had access to a health secretary and an RN, and they received breakfast and lunch every day. And they also had extended care up until 5 p.m. because normally the program ended at noon. So that impressed me, that they were thinking about, the needs of kids beyond, those program hours. The district used COVID relief funds to cover facilities, transportation, special education staff, academic materials, and food service. The USDA Summer Meals Program provided meals not only to the students, but each site had members that the community could drive through and pick up meals as needed. So 4 days a week, the kids engaged in 90 minutes of reading and 60 minutes of math. And then the kids could take books out from the library. And then they had enrichment activities like physical fitness, art, food activities. And Friday was a fun day that they did some special things on. And another thing that's very impressive is their partnerships. They cite partnerships as a reason the kids were having 2 meals a day, and they went on 2 field trips. They had parents learned about adult education opportunities. They provided food bags over the weekend, and the partners, now just for a summer program, they were able to generate $395,000 to make the program better. Okay. They've got a group there called the Zach Johnson Foundation that did a lot of fundraising. And the federal grant, the 21st Century, provided 1/3 of the funding for Kids on Course. And you know that when you work with your community, you can really make those federal dollars go a lot further. And this is not a lone example. I mean, I can cite, you know, dozens of examples where 21st Century funds provide only a portion. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you just, you know, you don't have that level of partnership commitment in your community, and, you know, you're limited by the 21st Century funds. But this, like I said, this is a best practice example. So the kids had 2 meals a day. They went on 2 field trips, and they had weekend food bags. And they also worked with AmeriCorps, and they provided staffing for the program. And most of the people in AmeriCorps were college students. And they said they had a passion for service with kids in the program. They also did parent engagement. And they had a total of 223 parents attending events. And that's outstanding. Because you only really, for a summer program, you only really need to have one parent engagement, but apparently they had more than one event. It's always good when you can inform parents about what you're doing. Let's take a look at results from the program. 80% of the kids improved in reading and 61 improved in math. And they had organized physical fitness for 200 minutes a week. Regular access to library materials, and field trips, and the community district provided over 30,000 meals during this summer program, working with USDA Food Service. Again, that's, you know, outstanding. And GEPRA Measure 5, they reported teachers with a median of 84% of the teachers said that there was strong student engagement over the course of the program. And they had 710 students enrolling in this program over the summer. And one of their local goals was that 100% of the kids would attend the field trips, and they met that goal. Now, here's something significant. Among the special education students, 80% improved in reading and 54% improved in math. And the attendance averaged 80% for the special ed kids. You know, that's tremendous. The special ed kids in this program were improving at the same rate as the other kids in the program. And I can remember a few years back, before there was any guidance on working with kids in special ed, that you know, some of the folks said, "Oh no, yeah, that we can't take these kids because they're too hard to work with." Well, you know, at-risk kids, special ed kids, that's our job, to work with those kids that need the most help. And you know, when I see good examples like this, that really brings it home for me that I know we can make a difference in their lives. Here's a picture of a parent event. Look at how many people are there. So apparently they invited Hy-Vee to come in, and they provided some wellness kits, and they had a math station and a lot of fun activities. So the district used COVID relief funding and ESSER dollars to supplement their summer program. And the final thing that I really like is this quote: "Children must feel loved, be well fed, have reliable transportation, and have their medical needs met if they are going to learn." I really like that. So just wanted to share with you, one of the local evaluation highlights. And, this is why I use these things, and we'll provide awards in the fall conference from that. So anyone have any questions on that, and have anything maybe that you want to share, some of the best practices that you've seen going on? Well, that's okay. That's kind of that was an outstanding example, and I don't expect everyone to, get that level of partnerships, but everybody can get some partners. I don't expect everybody to get their special ed kids up to 80%, improvement, but you can have some improvement. So we're all at different levels. But the important thing is that we, are continually working on helping these children that need it the most.
Vic, I did have a question outside this meeting about the annual survey, and someone was wondering if I could share the PDF version of that survey so that you could look at what's included in it before you open the link. And I did drop that PDF in the chat here, and
Wonderful.
Elsa and I will also make sure that we include it in an email after this meeting.
Yeah, and let me say that that survey, every year our evaluation committee reviews those questions, and sometimes they will take a question out, or they might add a new question in, and that survey is incorporated into our state evaluation every year. So it's very important that you participate in there and provide us with as much data as you can. And this data that we provide has kept this program alive. 3 times they tried to completely eliminate our program, but they were not able to, because we had significant data showing that we're making a difference in the lives of kids. That APR system, you may say, oh man, this is a big burden. However, that APR system, at the federal level, they designed it to report to Congress. And there have been times where Congress was talking about, do they want to keep this program or eliminate it? And that APR generated nice data reports showing that we are helping children. And that's kept us going. So it's very, very important that we continually participate and put that data in. Because I've been in a program that was eliminated. So I know the procedure for closing out a program. But I don't see it happening with this program. They've actually increased our funding. And I think that, we can continue to make a difference for kids. And I'd like to see a lot more districts start after school programs, because they are a good way to make sure kids don't fall through the cracks. Okay, anybody have any questions, comments, complaints? Okay, Heidi, you might want to turn the recording off.